Since 2021, I've been doing this monthly challenge where I draw Kobeni from Chainsaw Man every day for the month of October. I did a video on it last year and people seem to really like that, so I'm doing it again this year. So hi everyone, my name is Ash, my artist handle is Santanile-chan, and I present to you all Octobeni 4. Just want to say real quick, people always say, wow, you like Kobeni a lot. Yeah, Chainsaw Man's one of my favorite series of all time. I've been reading it since the literal first day it came out. I drew Kobeni over 100 times at this point. Yeah, I like Chainsaw Man, I like Kobeni, just deal with it, I guess. So, starting things off, the first Kobeni piece of the month is her wearing a tank top, jeans, and holding up 4 fingers on both hands. The reason I do this is because since the first Octobeni, I had Kobeni just like doing a little double peace sign and she's wearing this outfit. If I planned ahead and knew I was going to be doing this every year, I probably wouldn't have made her do double peace signs, because that would have been perfect for this year, But, you do what you can. This is also the first time that, the first Octobeni drawing has a background that's, in orange, instead of, the traditional gray. With the first Octobeni, at first, I was planning on making every drawing black and white, but as I kept going, I decided, hey, let me just color everything, and it was hell, but I had fun. Day 2 of Octobeni is a redraw of Volume 1 of The Summer Hikaru Died. I love this manga a lot, and this I think was the first year I decided to start doing manga redraws, because before I would just do album cover redraws, but this year I'm like, let me try doing a couple of manga volumes, really expand my palette basically. I say that, but then, the first one I do for the month is relatively simple. It's just Kobeni doing, a peace sign like Hikaru does. But I do really enjoy how I did the lighting here. Specifically, how the sun reflects off her shirt, the back of her head, that sort of thing. I think my goal for, next year's Octobeni is to get really into painting, so that way, my colors look a lot nicer. Because right now, I do mostly cel shading, which is totally fine, but, I think I could refine it, I could definitely make it better. With day 3 of Octobeni, this kind of coincided with the day that Dandadan got its anime and the first episode dropped, so I redrew the first volume of Dandadan with Kobeni and Denji. I really like this one, I think it came out great, I really love how I drew the folds in Kobeni's sweater. I'm a very big fan of the pochita earrings, I would wear those in real life. With day 4 of Octobeni, this is when I went to go see Joker 2 in theaters. That movie is such a goddamn mess, but I had a lot of fun, and as such, I drew Kobeni on those Joker stairs from the first movie. I think I've seen floating around a few Joker Kobeni pieces, like Kobeni putting on the clown makeup, or Kobeni just sad, or Kobeni seated as Joker at the end of Joker 1. But I haven't seen any of her dancing on the steps, so I'm alright, I'm gonna take advantage of that. So with day 5, I think this might be one of my favorites of the year. It was a redraw of the poster of Look Back with Kobeni and Power. There's a few subtle things here, like how Power is resting on her hand differently from how Fujino does in the poster, but otherwise I tried to capture the essence pretty much one-to-one. And of course you have a couple of dumb little Easter eggs, like Kobeni's drawing the panel of her and Power in the car. You have David Lynch in the back giving you a blunt, that sort of thing. I'm really proud of this one. I love how it came out. I love the lighting. I love the expressions on Power and Kobeni's faces. I really had fun with this. As a recording, I just rewatched Look Back with my friends last night, and we had a blast, dude. If you haven't seen that movie, and you're just a creative, you make art, you make videos, you do anything, you really owe it to yourself to watch that one. You really do. It's only 57 minutes too, so you can plow through that like it's nothing. Day 6 of Octobeni is based on The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chaperone, who I got into, I think, this year from my little sister. She introduced me. God, what a, fantastic artist, dude. She really killed it, and she's, been blowing up this year and, last. God bless her, bro. I really hope, I hope she does well. So, with this piece, right, I did not care to redraw that background, so what I did was I took the original album art, and I kind of blurred out the parts where, Chappell's reflection is, in the mirror, or, her shadow, for example. And from there, I just drew Kobeni. It may be a little hard to see due to, video compression and stuff, but, I did give Kobeni that subtle white makeup that Chappelle has on in her, album art. And I also changed her sash to just say, Kobeni. I put little gemstones, too. I'm very proud of how the little bouquet came out and like the little fluff on her left side, our right. I really am happy with how this piece came out. With day 7, this one's pretty simple, but I based it off the cover of No Hands by Joey Valence and Bray. I saw these boys perform live in September back in Jersey, and boy, I love these guys so much. If you guys haven't like listened to them, the best way I could describe them is like imagine playing Halo Reach with your homies on Xbox Live. It's a Friday, y'all are having fun, y'all just talking about whatever in the Xbox Live party. That's how these boys rap. I think the hardest part of this piece was friggin' Denji's hair. Joey's hair in the original looks like this, and Denji's hair in what I drew doesn't look nearly as scuffed, but it's very hard to draw scuffed hair. I did include the little violence fiend on Kobeni's hoodie, because like Bray's hoodie says no violence, so I'm like, okay, let me just be a little silly here. If I could change one thing, I would probably make the background gradient darker, because you can see, like, in the original album, it's a more navy blue, whereas, like, the way I do it is more sky blue. That's, like, the only thing I have, like, an issue with. With day 8, this one is a redraw of volume 2 of Skippin' Loafer. I think I did a video where I talked about this one briefly. I love Skippin' Loafer, I love Chainsaw Man, bada bing bada boom. I remember this piece taking me like a bit. This one took me like I think 3 hours or so because I put like so much effort into like the little details for some reason. I don't know why. Like Kobeni's little backpack straps or like the ruffles on like Denji's pants. Like I don't know why I spent so much time on this one specifically. I even went like out of my way to like duplicate how the flowers were drawn and colored, how like the colors are going outside the lines. I don't know why. But I am really proud of how this one came out. I replaced a little pin on Kobeni's shirt with a little knife to represent that knife she used in early Chainsaw Man. And like, I'll take any excuse I can to put Pochita in every single thing I draw. So for day 9, I was unable to like participate in that trend of everyone drawing Brazilian Miku because I was busy doing this. So I'm like, alright, let me do my own spin, Brazilian Kobeni. The design is nothing special. It's based on the Brazilian Miku design. So you have like, you know, the crop top, you got the shorts, etc, etc. But I had fun. This one was really fun. I think this one took me like an hour at most, but this one was very quick, easy, to the point. People liked it. People really love tan lines for some reason, I noticed. I'm not gonna judge. Looking back on it though, I am kind of upset at myself because I'm like staring at the image. I forgot to put like a bunch of beauty marks on Kobeni, which is something that I usually do when I draw her in this sort of way. Like, I usually have her covered in like moles and beauty marks, so I don't know why for this one I only put them on her face. That's unacceptable, bro. This one needs a redraw. Day 10 was also a pretty simple one. This one took me, I think, a little over an hour, but this one is just simply Kobeni Anthony Fantano. That's all it is. I guess she'd go by Kobentani Higashitano here. Funnily enough, the little brat Kobeni you see in the background, I posted that months ago on Twitter talking about like this is like a failed Octobeni like redraw because it's just like the text, but I'm happy I was able to like incorporate it into this year's Octobeni in some way. You can see some little Easter eggs, like in the back you have Solfa by Asian Kung Fu Generation, you have the Final Fantasy 16 soundtrack, you have my signature being Kobeni's like username, just like very small things. But I had fun, and like I think that's what's most important with this sort of thing. Day 11 is the day that Metaphora Refantasio came out, so I drew Kobeni dressed as Hulkenberg. This one, if I remember, took like 2 hours, give or take, but I am very, very happy with this one. I'm so tight because like, I got Metaphor day 1, I have the collector's edition, it's staring at me on my shelf, but I've been so busy, I haven't had the time to just like sit down and play it. I still have not played it as a recording, and I'll probably be like a week or two before I get the chance to play it. But I'm very proud of how this one came out. I'm really proud of like the pose, how I drew the motion of Kobeni, like, you know, shooting her spear basically. I think I'm missing like the intricate design of a Hulkenberg's shoulder pads, but aside from that, I think I did a pretty good job. Alright, so day 12 is based on that one photo of, I think that character is Super Pochako, I think her name is, and it says, "Get ready for Fat Girl Fall." So I basically just drew like a chubby Kobeni eating ramen, and people seemed to really like this one. And I'll take this one as an opportunity to say, people ask me, hey, why do you draw like chubby girls? Or why do you draw like Kobeni chubby when she's not? Why not? Yeah, literally just why not? During that little after party they had in Chainsaw Man, Kobeni's like, my hobby is eating tasty things. So I'm like, alright, let's just assume she's older now, she's happy, and she continued her hobby, and now she's chubby. That's it, you know? I see no issue with it personally. If you don't like it, I mean, that's totally fine. But I like doing it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Speaking of things I like, here's Day 13, whole lot of red, Playboy Cardi. That album is a goddamn mess, but I had to draw it with Kobeni because I told myself I would, and this one was really, really fun to do. I tried messing with the shading on this one, because you could see like the reflection of a light on her hair. I tried doing this drawing without that, but it didn't look right. It was hard to distinguish like that this was Kobeni without doing that. But I'm proud I was able to find the font that like Cardi used for writing red at the top. So I just used that for Kobeni and boom, it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty solid. Day 14 is based off this one TikTok that's been going around of like this dude who baked his boyfriend into a cookie because he missed him. I did the same thing, except the way I see Kobeni and Denji's relationship, in my opinion, is basically anxious older sister and dumb little brother. That's how I always see these two. Especially towards the end of part 1 of Chainsaw Man, where like, Kobeni, despite everything, is kind of comforting Denji and helping him out. That's kind of what my basis on their relationship is. So I see these two as siblings. It's kind of like how I see Power to be like the dumb younger sister, Denji's the dumb younger brother, Kobeni's like the worrying older sister, and Aki is like the angry older brother, you know? In my head, they have this cute little family dynamic. The only real Easter egg here is that the emblem on Kobeni's hoodie is the Family Burger logo, which is where she worked at in part 1. Back to the redraws with day 15, we got Stankonia by Outcast. Kobeni took like no time at all to draw, but Denji took a little bit because of like the pose that he got going on. I had to make sure the shoulder blades looked right, and even then, I don't think they look perfect. The biggest issue for me is like the shoulders into like the trapezials, you know, the like connecting thing in between the shoulder and the neck. Yeah, that was giving me a lot of trouble here, but despite that, I think I did pretty good. On the perspective on the hands and like the forearms also, I think I did a pretty good job at that. For the background, I literally just looked up a black American flag and just put it on the back, and I couldn't find the font that they used for this one, so I just had to find some other one. Day 16 was a very silly one. It was a redraw of like this pose of Justin Bieber looking down, looking all downtrodden, and he's wearing this attire that says, "Racism is evil." For this one, I tried to replicate the lighting from the original image, where like the light kind of cascades on his left leg and like part of his like hoodie. It's kind of hard to shade with like black in this sort of situation, but despite everything, it came out alright. I like the expression Kobeni has. Same thing with Justin. They both look like they're like so deep in thought, you know, they're mourning. So with day 17, I was trying like something different. I was trying a more of a mood piece, you know, something that makes you feel something here. And this one is just Kobeni holding a coffee cup with a little pochita, and she's just kind of basking in like the sunset, you know, the twilight. I think for next year, I want to try doing more pieces like this, more like mood-based pieces that make you feel a type of way. This is one of my favorite pieces of this year, and I think it's very simple. It didn't take me all too long. I think the longest part was the telephone wires. But aside from that, yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with this piece. And I think going forward, I don't want to do just more redraws and just things like that. I want to be able to draw Kobeni in like situations that make you feel a type of way. You know what I mean? Anyways, here's another redraw. This one is this one is All My Heroes Are Cornballs by JPEG Mafia. For this one, I actually put in the effort to draw the background. It's very simple, very amateur. I think my biggest thing is I wish I made the pillar, like the brick pillar, to her left or right. I wish I made it look more dilapidated like it does in the original image. But aside from that, I think I did pretty good on like her cloth, her expression I think is one-to-one. The shading, the lighting, the overall mood, and like the uncomfortable nature of the original album art. I think I nailed that. The biggest issue I feel was like how glossy Peggy's clothes are, you know, they have that really nice sheen to them that I still can't really figure out how to replicate in my art, but that's something I want to like aim towards. I want to be able to replicate very shiny textures and just like textures in general, you know. Day 19 was another redraw. This one was Timely by Henri, and this one I also decided to redraw the background as well. I really like this one. This one was super simple. If you guys are interested, everything I do is with like one brush that I downloaded via Clip Studio Paint like many years ago. I use that for my sketches, for my line art, for my coloring, everything. So everything you see in like this drawing is just the same brush, just different scales, etc. I think I'm just like a sucker for drawing skies. I love skies, I love clouds, that sort of thing puts me at ease. I love it so much. My only complaint or nitpick with this piece is I think the shadow on Kobeni's face should have been harsher, because like in the original piece you see like Henri, like the shadows are very harsh on her. The sunlight is very harsh, and I don't think that in my piece the sunlight is anywhere near as harsh, but I still think it looks fine, you know? So with day 20, as many people are aware, Akira Toriyama passed away on March 1st, and like for months, I've wanted to do some sort of tribute piece, you know? I didn't grow up on Dragon Ball. I read all of the original in 2018 and like parts of Z up until like Cell Saga, I believe. I've read like after Frieza. But yeah, I wanted to pay some sort of homage to Toriyama, and I decided, you know what? Let me redraw volume 13 of Dragon Ball with Kobeni and her car. Drew Kobeni in Goku's little pose, put her in his gi, you know, that sort of thing. And I think this is one of my favorite pieces this year. Full disclosure, I did not draw that car. I literally just took a photo of Kobeni's car and traced it, and I'm like, okay, that's good, because I cannot draw cars to save my life. As much as I want to, and as much as I try, I just couldn't. But I hope to down the line so I could pay a more fitting homage to Toriyama, because if you ever read his stuff, he's really good at drawing vehicles. He's like excellent at that sort of thing. Rest in peace, big man. I'll finish Dragon Ball one of these days. Day 21 has the return of Chubby Kobeni, and man, do people really, really like Chubby Kobeni. This one is relatively simple. It's just her on the beach. That's it. She's holding a little beach ball. I'll draw more Chubby Kobeni down the line for the people to like it. I mean, I like doing it, so it's like no big deal. But yeah, she's happy. I put her in the outfit that she wore in the trailer for the anime, which has a lot of scenes that are just not in the final product, which I find very interesting, actually. With day 22, usually when I'm on my lunch breaks at work, I like to go on like a walk in the nearby area. So I just took a photo of Manhattan's East River, and I just put Kobeni in front of it. That's really all I did here. This was a fun way for me to experiment with shading and lighting, because I had like the sun reflecting off the back of Kobeni's sweater and like her outfit in general. So you may be asking yourself, hey Ash, if it's cold outside and Kobeni's bundled up, why is she eating ice cream? Why not? Besides, I'm not gonna lie, even when it's cold outside, I still crave ice cream, so like, she's not alone. I seem to like just love putting Kobeni in situations this year, because like day 23 was her doing that iconic pose of, you know, I had to do it to him. See, I didn't forget the beauty marks this time. But yeah, I just redrew this. Surprisingly, I'm very surprised I never drew her in this pose before, because this seems like a very easy, like no dip sort of thing, like I should have done this. But whatever, better late than never. Here she is, she got beauty marks all over her, she's happy, she's smiling, she's posed up, that's all good. Day 24 is based on this one TikTok that was going around of like, yeah, two girls. Girl on the left was cooking and girl on the right was smiling whenever girl on the left was present in the video. So I did a spin on it where it's like, oh, you know, Kobeni's smiling because Power is cooking. And then it shows where Power is cooking and she's making sludge. She's making an Elden Ring map, like she's making some toxins, dude. This one was fun. It was relatively simple to make. I liked changing Kobeni's expression slightly. I liked putting Aki's cigarette in there and a little Pikmin, because, you know, why not? Sometimes you don't even need, like, dialogue in your drawing. Sometimes, just, like, facial expressions can convey everything. And again, I will use any opportunity I have to put Pochita in everything that I draw. With day 25, this was the release date, or like the official release date of Sonic X Shadow's Pause Generations. So I drew Kobeni assembling one of those Shadow the Hedgehog Lego heads, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen them. They are so ugly. Like, this feels like a hate crime. Like, this is evil. This is vile stuff here, bro. I drew Kobeni in like a little Chow shirt, and I had her wearing like red shorts to like convey the Sonic color scheme. I am pretty proud of how I drew the Lego Shadow Head, because this was not traced. This was all like me just looking at like the Shadow Head and like basing it off of that. It's really ugly. I cannot stress enough how ugly this thing is, but I did a good job. You know, I will toot my own horn. I will be nice to myself. Many artists in general, I noticed, especially online, like to downplay themselves, their technical abilities, their achievements, etc. You know what? Nah, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for doing Kobeni 4 years in a row, and I will sing my praises, okay? Day 26 was a simple enough redraw of that one meme going around of Shaquille O'Neal doing like the timeout gesture. I did that with Kobeni here. This is basically how I feel every time I read Chainsaw Man and something bad happens to Denji. The small little Easter egg here is that Kobeni's shirt says I Love Chainsaw, which is the title of the final chapter of part 1 of Chainsaw Man. Day 27 is much more interesting, because this one is a redraw of Food by MF Doom. This one has a whole lot of Easter eggs scattered throughout the table. You got Pochita underneath the table looking up at Kobeni. You have my signature on the bowl of whatever the hell Kobeni's eating, which in this case is Himeno's. The side of the box has Himeno's cigarette, it says Easy Revenge. The milk carton has a little Pochita on it, and it also says, Have you seen me, with a photo of Power. I did find someone online that had the font for food, but I decided to just make it myself regarding the graffiti for the logo at the top right, and I did okay. I should have made the green a little lighter, but I think I did a good job. Day 28 was pretty stellar. I redrew Volume 8 of Sakamoto Days with Kobeni doing the little pose. She had the knife, she has the gun, and I think this one is one of the best ones I did this year. This one also, surprisingly, only took me like a little over 2 hours, I think, from like start to finish, you know, doing the sketch, line art, coloring, etc. But I'm really proud of like how dynamic the pose looks. Obviously doesn't look like as nice as the original in terms of the shading, the rough sketching, and like the line art. But I think for my style, for what I do and how I draw, I think this came out really great. Only thing I would potentially change is how the blood looks. Other than that, I think, you know what, this is one of the best pieces I did this year. Day 29 was another album redraw. This one was based off of Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, and I did this one with Kobeni and Makima. This is the first time I drew Makima in a hot minute, and I did a pretty good job here. The font I could not find, so I had to do it myself, which is why it looks a little crooked. But I think I nailed the pose, nailed the lighting and the shading here, and the expressions on both of their faces. I think I did a pretty good job at replicating them both. I have no idea what the hell he's holding in the original album art. I still don't know, so I just put Pochita there instead. I know a lot of people, myself included, thought that he was, like, they were holding hands originally, so I was a little surprised when I zoomed in. I'm like, no, he's holding, like, an orb or, like, something. Day 30 was a tribute to the late, great Shelley Duvall, who I think probably inspired Kobeni. At least her appearance in The Shining might have inspired Kobeni. This one, I might say, top 3 Kobenis I drew this year. I love how I drew Kobeni's expression, I love the pose, I love the simple background, which is like an asset on the Clip Studio paint store, but I still think it's really cute. I love how I did the colors here, the shading, everything about this piece I feel is like a culmination of how far I've come as an artist, as a person, what I value in art, what I see in art, and I think everything just kind of came together here and shown in this piece that I think is a very fitting tribute to Shelley. She was a really good actress, she lived a good life, and I just hope she's resting in peace right now. And for the final Kobeni of the year, I simply, no redraws, no nothing, I just drew Kobeni happy with Power, Denji, celebrating Happy Octobeni. This one has a few Easter eggs as well. We got the little Makima plush at the top, meant to be like a piñata based on the Makima plush that I have. The food that's on the table is all things that Denji ate in the final chapter of Chainsaw Man Part 1. I put Sukuna's finger there also. And the lollipop there is like the Chupa Chup, I think that's what they're called. That lollipop that Makima gave to Denji after he had to deal with Himeno's vomit. I also made Denji's color scheme here based off of Finn from Adventure Time, because Fujimoto has gone on record saying that Finn and Jake were like the basis for Denji and Pochita. This one didn't take nearly as long compared to the finales of the past 2 years, being the Sakana Action redraw and the Asian Kung Fu Generation redraw, but I still had a lot of fun doing this one, and I'm very happy with this one. I wouldn't change it for the world, genuinely. And with that, that's Octobeni 4 done and over with, and I'm free, and boy, I was really feeling that burnout towards the end, let me tell you. I guess I'll use this section to ramble for a bit, but yeah, no, doing these sort of monthly draws, these sort of like monthly challenges, is very taxing. It's very taxing, especially if you're like me, you know, you got a job, you got a social life, you want to go to the gym, that sort of thing. You gotta juggle everything going on, and something's gonna have to take a hit. In my case, I pretty much played next to no games at all during the month of October, where all my free time that wasn't spent working or what have you was spent drawing Kobeni. I also had to deal with a loss in the family, so I had to deal with planning for the funeral in addition to like the funeral ceremony and everything that proceeds and goes before. So amidst all of that, I was somehow able to get Octobeni done, and I'm very glad that I was able to. Would I recommend this if you're an artist? I mean, maybe, but like, please do not force yourself. Please do not push yourself. It is very hard. It's very, very hard, but I think you can do it. I think genuinely anyone can do it. You don't gotta do insane album redraws or like full color pieces. I think if you practice at least like one drawing a day, you will get better at the very least. But yeah, sorry for the drought in videos. I have some more videos planned, I have ideas, I got scripts, I'll take care of those. I'll try to have one other video out before the year ends. But yeah, this has been Ash, I love you guys, hope you guys are doing well. I'm gonna read off my patrons, close off the video. Thank you to Tyler, Marco Polio, Mason Bushi, Fool Command, Judgin Truz, The Bard, Oh Hey It Me, Citrus Banana, Treyman Jenkins, Expert Student 64, Dominoes, Folk Punk, Meggy Dodine, Stune Mene, Saragnal, Big Boot Goddamn, Polaroid Jack, Sarah Lolita, Borpilus Vunny, Real Settery, Loose, Vento, C, Kiwi Kiwi, Z, V, Andrew, Braystar, Amataru Masu, Logan, Sianaru, and Jeeb. Love you guys, stay safe, have a good night, have a good day. I'll see you next time for another video where I talk about manga for like a half hour.